What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Savvy Say and I am back with another video. In today's video we are getting in the kitchen and cooking kale. Not just any kale, red rockin' kale. So come along as I show you our go-to recipe on how I cook kale. Kale, we have 2 minced garlic cloves, 1 medium onion, a turkey leg, 4 cups of chicken broth. Even though I do use the fresh garlic and onion, I still like to add a teaspoon of garlic powder and onion powder for additional flavor. Salt and pepper to taste. And then the red chili flakes are optional. You could do like a quarter teaspoon of the red chili flakes and then 2 teaspoons of white vinegar. So the first thing you want to do is disinfect your sink. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is just stop up my sink, fill it up with some cold water, and get the greens soaking. And when I'm cleaning my greens, I like to look for any eggs, because when you grow greens, you notice that the cabbage moths love greens, and they'll lay their eggs on the back side of the leaves, and it'll be like a little pale egg sac. And I want to look for and remove any eggs. So the first step I do is just looking for any eggs. When you grow organic greens and you don't spray anything on them, it's hard to keep the cabbage moths off of them unless you have them covered, which is the best way. That's such a beautiful green leaf. So I'm just checking to see if I see any eggs. Okay, these look good. I'm not seeing anything, so I'm just gonna let them soak. I like to let them soak. Kale leaf is all edible, but however, I personally don't like the stem in mine. I like to remove it. So after I let this soak, they've been washed and rinsed and cleaned. I've checked for eggs, don't see any pests. Go ahead and start to remove the stems. So I go ahead and just remove the stem. And I just discard of this. I actually put this in my compost bin. So I go through, take off all the stems. Comes off easy if you just slide up. And this was a small bundle. I actually usually do 2 bundles, but I'm just gonna do 1 today because I did use 1 to juice. I juiced 1 of my bundles. You can check that video out right here. So once I have all the backbones removed, all the stems removed, I like to come through. Once I have everything removed, I like to come through and just gently massage it. That's just gonna tenderize them a little bit. Not much. You don't have to beat them up or anything. Just a gentle massage. Once I do the gentle massage, I like to start adding them to my salad spinner. So I'll start to add my leaves to my salad spinner just to remove any of that excess water. So I've got all my greens into this bowl. Then I place them, once I shake out majority of the water that I can, then I just add it. Then I dump off that excess water. Spin it around a few more times. These are prepped and ready to go. Now we're gonna move on to the next step. So for the next step, you're gonna need a pot. I get my pot together, and I put in a couple of tablespoons, put in about a tablespoon or so of olive oil. Turn my heat onto medium low, let that heat up, and then we're gonna go ahead and throw in our onion our onion first, and then we will throw in our garlic. And we'll go ahead and let that saute up. So I got my olive oil in there. It's heating up. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my diced onion. Get my wooden spoon. So you want a large pot, and I'm just gonna saute my onion on low heat until it is translucent. I like to add my onion first, let that get going and saute it in a little bit of color. Then I add my garlic towards the end because the garlic can burn very fast and I don't want that to happen. So my onions are starting to sweat. I'm about to go ahead and add in the garlic. Got the garlic in. Garlic doesn't take long, it burns very easy. So we're gonna just move that around a little bit, agitate that. I'm smelling it. I get the whiff. The aromatics are coming out. And so the next step is gonna be to add in our turkey. I prefer a wing. Couldn't find a wing that day I was out looking for this. So I'm gonna use this drumstick. And then this is where your chicken stock comes in. You can use water. I prefer to use chicken stock to add that additional flavor. And I pour this in. And I just let this cook down. Our turkey wing in there, our chicken stock, and our onion and garlic. I'm gonna just let this cook on medium heat. And I'm gonna put the lid on. So I'm gonna get the lid on and I'm gonna use this little lid lift. Shout out to my mother-in-law for gifting me these little cute things. They definitely come in handy. So you put this on and then you put your lid on and it allows it to boil without the steam bubbling over. So I'm gonna let that do its thing for 30 minutes or so. And once I feel that it's cooked down, we'll move on to the next step. All right guys, so the turkey leg has been cooking down for about 30 minutes now. It's starting to smell good. And this is where all the flavor is, you guys. You want to definitely add this turkey. This turkey is what is going to add all the flavor to your greens. So I'm going to continue to let it cook down a little longer. There's still a lot of that chicken stock in there. I had poured 4 cups in there, but that was mainly just to render out the flavor from the turkey. I don't really want that much liquid when I start to add the greens because you just want the greens to really like steam. You don't want them to boil. So I don't need that much liquid in there when I add the greens. So I'm just gonna continue to let some of this cook down a little bit longer. Back in once the broth has reduced by half. All right, my liquid has reduced. So now I'm gonna add my greens. You can coarsely chop these if you prefer to. I don't feel it's necessary with kale. If it was more like collards or mustards, I most definitely would. But I just add the kale right into the pot. And if it's like a lot, just add a little bit at a time and then it will slowly start to cook down and then you can get all of them in there. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add in a teaspoon of onion and garlic powder. And I'll add about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. At this point, I don't add any salt. I like to check for the salt at the end, and the salt is to taste. I know with the chicken stock and with this turkey drum, I find that sometimes to be enough saltiness for me. So I don't add any salt until they cook down and it's more towards the end. So I'm gonna let this go ahead and do its thing. And then we'll check back in and check the progress of it. At this time, you could add your red pepper flakes. I'm not going to add red pepper flakes this time because I know the girls are going to be eating it and I don't want it to be too spicy for them. I don't really want this to boil a whole lot. I just want to let it steam. So I'm going to add my lid and let those cook. So the greens have been cooking for a little while now and they are looking yummy. They have cooked down quite a bit. So now will be the time where you want to go ahead and taste it and see if you need to adjust the seasoning. Okay, I think it could use a little bit of salt. So now is the time where I'm going to add my salt. I'm not gonna add much. I'm gonna start with just about 1/4. It's very easy to over salt these. So I'm just gonna add a little bit at a time, and I can always add more if I need to. And then at this point, I'm also gonna add those 2 teaspoons of vinegar. So I'm gonna go in with another taste test and see how it is with that added salt and the vinegar. Give me a good piece here. That is tasting yummy. So I'm gonna just continue to let this cook down some more and check back in a few more minutes. We are back and the greens are looking yum. Gonna go ahead and get one more taste. Make sure the seasonings are all good. Tasting good. And at this point, this is when I like to remove this. You could shred this turkey meat and have it in your greens. I personally don't do that. I just like to use it for the flavor as like a seasoning meat. And then I just remove it. And then I just eat the greens alone by themselves. That is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video. So the kale is done, guys, and that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed making this Rockin Red Kale with me. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.